I want to see a Sierra Leone that has a manufacturing-based economy as the gateway to penetrate neighboring market, so that at the end of the day, the best jobs to lift people out of poverty, not the charity jobs that keep people in poverty. Those best jobs will be available to young people so that they can become the most productive generation in our lifetime. That is what I see, my friends. I believe that we need to fix our broken healthcare system. The way we do that is not by importing more medication. We're only subsidizing Western pharmaceutical companies. Don't wait for people to be sick. And then everybody goes to hospital where there are only 20 beds for 2,000 people. And pregnant women end up sleeping on the floor. I saw those things when I went to so-called government hospitals in Kenema, in Kailau, you name them, etc. The same reality. Sometimes different towns, but same reality. I want to have a healthcare system that is rooted, first of all, in prevention. That means that community health education must be an integral part of our public health system. It means that we must start training young people today, either coming out of college or secondary school, to go in and be trained as community health workers. And to make that happen, I intend as president to build another medical school, not in Freetown, but in the most vulnerable part of the country, so we can start to train the next generation of healthcare workers. It's not just about doctors, it's about healthcare workers. When I was in Cuba last summer, and I went there and I spoke to many of their key officials, and I went around to visit their healthcare centers. One thing I saw, and that is why, in spite of 50 years plus embargo against Cuba, the life expectancy in Cuba is higher than the United States of America. They did not achieve it by importing medication. They did it by simply looking at where they were, produce the doctors that Indian healthcare workers, make sure that every community of 15,000 people had a healthcare center with doctors and nurses, well-trained staff to live in the community. That every doctor was assigned to stay in that community. So at the end of the day, when a child comes in 2-3 times with the same problem, the doctor or the nurses there would visit the house. Say, what is going on here? Perhaps it's a case of malnourishment. Perhaps it's just a case of living in a place where ventilation is poor. And so the asthma could actually be treated by making sure that the windows were fixed. In other words, my friends, we should not embark upon anything that deepens our dependency on those countries that have kept us in poverty. I do not intend to be a market for anyone anymore. We deserve to create our own solutions to our problems. We must stand with the backbone of an independent, prosperous Sierra Leone. You know, my friends, when I look at the collapse of the rural economy in Sierra Leone, it did not happen in 1960, it did not happen in 1997. It happened when we had this one-party dictatorship, and somehow some drunken minister and the dictator at the time, Shaka Stevens, decided to end the railway, and they sold the scraps to foreign merchants. Then the rural economy collapsed. Suddenly, all the towns and villages along the railway line died out. And you wonder why there is a rural-urban migration, where we render them poor and they had to follow the direction of where there was at least some relative opportunity. Even if it means sleeping in the slums in Cuba, better than being in a village where there's nothing and no certainty of ever connecting yourself to the highway of the future. So my friends, I promise you tonight, and I've said it over and over again, as president, during my first term, I'll bring back the railway in Sierra Leone.
Wow!
That will be done, my friends. We need it. The reason we need the railway is because everywhere the railway stops, we will create jobs. That is how we're going to cut down unemployment. When I talked about solution to unemployment, I'm not talking about a big bloated government. I don't need to hire more people to work on government jobs. In fact, I intend to cut down the size of government, eliminate the waste and the corruption and inefficiencies, and use the savings to establish government guaranteed loans for young entrepreneurs in our country. And by the way, you know, I used to be a Marxist, you know. I actually believed that socialism was the way. Anyway, that's history now. TJ Lamina knows those times. You know? But I've come a long way, right? I know that there's a role for government, but it is not to manage the lives of people. You know, the reason why I am so passionate about democracy is that every policy idea I have can only work, my friends, if we have a clean, corruption-free judiciary. The rule of law must prevail. You cannot invest in any place where you know that some powerful person somewhere can easily come and threaten your property, and you have to waste your hard-earned money to defend yourself. We have a broken judiciary in Sierra Leone today, and I intend to clean out that corruption by making sure that we have an executive that does not run amok, and we have a parliament that actually does its job, so that we can finally have the true separation of powers. And the first thing I'll do is to end the era of the imperial presidency. DJ. You know, my friends, of course, we'll eliminate that so-called executive or whatever. You know. Yes, yes. You know, let me say that all of these policy ideas will work, my friends, and I mean this, will work if we all come together to support the best vehicle for the fulfillment of our aspirations today. And that vehicle is the Sierra Leone People's Party. One people, one country. Yeah. One people,
one country.
You know, my friends, I am SLPP not because I just, as I said earlier on, woke up this morning and discovered religion or discovered SLPP. The reason why we fought against one-party dictatorship is precisely because we believed that there was a need for a political culture that was based on competitive politics, and that the Sierra Leone People's Party must be an integral part of that. Without the SLP, we will not have democracy in Sierra Leone. We will not have the rule of law. I know that for a fact as a young man, and I've kept the faith. But my friends, let me talk about SLPP now. You know, we have everything lined up now to win. The only obstacle to SLPP victory is SLPP. The only reason we talk about APC meddling in the affairs of SLPP because we allow them to do that. So I don't talk about that stuff. Who get brown and below, who is nice to Ernest. As a matter of fact, I didn't talk about Ernest. You know, because I want the system broken. I intend to bury it in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So I'm not worried about Ernest. You know, that's why I never mention his name. You know, my friends, let me tell you this. What we need to do as a party is to embrace demography and reject geography. And I will explain that, my friends. It's always new to people when I say that. But I've studied the mathematics of victory for SLPP, and I know that it will come about if we start to use demography as the new architecture of organizing. And how are we going to do that, my friends? We have a population of 18 to 35-year-olds, about 45% of the voting population. They are in the north, they are in the south, they are in the east, and they are in the west. And like any good entrepreneur, you go where the market is for your product, they vote, and we need their vote. So we need to have an organizing system that appeals to a demographic group across the board, because that, to me,
it's the surest way to lock them in, not just for the election in 2017-18, but for the next 5 elections, so we can build a permanent democratic majority for the Sierra Leone People's Party, have that majority in parliament, make sure we protect our democracy, grow our economy, defend the fundamental aspirations of our people, and build a society that's rooted in dignity for all. That to me is the way. And when I talk about voters, I don't look geography, I don't define myself on the basis of geography. That is because I understand that fundamentally, people always vote based on 2 things. They vote out of hope or they vote out of fear. And underlying it all is something called self-interest. That is a scientific political notion. It doesn't change whether you are voting in the UK or United States or Sierra Leone. And I've, been very active in those things in the US. You know what, my friends? We have a broken system today. The last thing we want to do as a party is to build walls of fear and mistrust instead of focusing our energy and resources on building bridge of hope. We must be a party that gives our people that hope that when this APC nightmare is over, a new dawn will rise and that we can give them what they yearn for since independence. A nation that is prosperous, democratic, and respect the rule of law. A society that gives everyone, from the most remote corner of the east to the north to the south, the west, a fair shot. A fair shot. Just a fair shot. People don't want government to assure them of anything, really. But what you want is that you can have a fair shot at living your life with full dignity. If we can do that, then government becomes a friend of the people, not a terror-driven organization in which the powerful simply abuse the judiciary, put defenseless journalists in jail, shut down programs just because they don't want to hear the truth, go after opposition activists even in their own homes, making sure that opportunity is all for just one part of the country or one town just because the president is from there. My friends, as president, I'll be president of the Republic of Sierra Leone. And I intend to bring development everywhere without politics. Let me say this too, my friends. To win as a party, we as SLPP must put in the resources the party needs. No vehicle, new or old, can actually take you from point A to B without some, you call it here gasoline, and we call it petrol, whatever, petrol. And we need that because, you see, we spend most of our time and resources talking about what is wrong with the SLPP, and we don't pay attention to the great opportunities we have. I want all of us here tonight to forget about who you support, to forget about whether the members of NEC are your friends or they are in your camp, to forget about whether a regional chairman likes you or not, to say, you know what, our party is broke and the only way the party is going to make money without the power to print banknotes like ABC is for all of us here to put money into the party.
Here, here.
Let's support the SLPP chapter here in the UK, Ireland. Put the money into it. Don't worry about who is chairman support or assistant, or treasurer. I don't look at position. I always say leadership is not position. We are united by a shared value. A value that says we are one country and one people. And every time SLPP has been in power, democracy has prevailed. And without democracy, we cannot have all the other things we talk about. So let us, my friends, leave here tonight. Forget about all the negative reasons for not supporting our party. Put the money into the party. If we put the money into the party, the rest will all fall in place. We will ultimately have a leader we deserve, even though we may have a leader we want. I am the leader we deserve for the movement today we face. That is what I'm saying. I am the leader we want today because Sierra Leone is going to go into the abyss. If we have another project, who thinks that this system could just be tweaked a bit, painted over, and the glass is broken, let me patch that up. I say that the whole system is rotten, reject it, have the courage to build something new. A new society of opportunity and responsibility. Put everyone in, no one out. Everyone up, no one down. One country, one people. Forward to victory. Forward to victory. Forward to victory. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night. Take care. I love you all. I love you, my people. Thank you.